You got to have the board.
Yeah.
We do. We need one.
Rachel, order us a board.
Wix. We need a Wix board.
There
It
you
needs
go.
to say Wix. All right, it's time for a What's Working in Ag segment. And I think the topic we're going to talk about today is working whether we realize it or not.
Oh, yeah?
You think so?
Is that we should be working when we don't think we're working, or what?
No, I think the item that we're going to talk about is extremely important to all of our listeners' operations, and it's working every day for them even though they don't realize it.
Yeah, maybe something that gets overlooked quite a bit.
That's right. Our pleasure to have our guest joining us virtually today. We've got Donald here. He's coming to us as the Director of Product Management for North America in regards to Wix filters. Welcome to the podcast.
Thanks. Appreciate it, guys.
Donald, where are you coming from today?
Hey, I'm live and in person here in Gastonia, North Carolina, just a couple minutes outside of Charlotte.
Is that the headquarters for Wix filters?
It is the headquarters. Has been since 1939 of all times. So Gastonia is a great location. A lot of great people around here.
1939. That's a lot of history there.
Been here a long time. When I first started, I'm dating myself, but when I first started working for the company, it was in an old cotton mill that they had bought many years ago and turned into a factory, and it's got a lot of history here in this location.
Wow.
So we're literally talking filters today and why they're important.
Yeah.
Why this is something that we need to think about as we go through every day of our operation, not just peak season, but ultimately making sure that we understand the importance of having a quality filter to protect our engine. So as you think about that, Donald, when you start off a conversation with somebody, how do you get it going?
I think we as a group of people have become so accustomed to having everything instantaneous. And so we get in our car in the morning or our truck and we start it up and we don't even really think about all the things that are happening there, right? So you've got a fuel pressure that's coming up to an injector that squirts into a cylinder that fires off automatically with a spark plug. And we just happen thousands of times over and over. And we just take it for granted. And there's lots of things that have to happen to make that take place. And the same thing happens whether it's your equipment, whether it's your skid steer, your tractor, whatever the case is. All those internal combustion engines kind of operate on the same principles. And we have all these parts, pieces, and protection that have to happen simultaneously. And one of those obviously important things is to make sure that is the fuel clean, is the oil clean, is the air coming in clean to that engine. And that's where your filters come into play.
Yeah, we use a lot of engines. We rely on a lot of engines in agriculture, from the car or the pickup to get us to the farm or haul the trailer to the diesel engines that don't have spark plugs that have a lot of oil that we use. And my gosh, these engines have gotten so expensive. The oil is so expensive. We're working on razor thin margins. For us to lose an engine or have an issue, even if it's just a little part that goes down, is a big deal. So we need the best thing filtering it, right? And I'm assuming that's why we're talking to you today, Wix filters.
Absolutely. That's exactly what we do is we want to make sure we're where it counts. And if you've ever had the fun of tearing into an engine or tearing a piece of equipment apart because some little thing happened to not do its job, you'll know that, you shouldn't have probably tried to save a buck on that particular oil filter. Instead of spending the $2, you only spent $1. So, how much time did you waste rebuilding that? So that's why we offer quality products at a great price each and every day.
Maybe this is your problem, Tanner. That's why you guys are always having engine problems.
Oh, no, not the case. We will be running all Wix filters after this conversation because
Yeah.
I dug into this a little bit more, and that is one of the things you take pride in is the quality of filter that you produce.
Absolutely. Like I said, we've been around since 1939. We started out just taking the waste out of the cotton mills, and that's what became what we call the filter media in the early versions, just to kind of strip off the junk and whatnot that was in the oil. And as things have progressed, we've started making different things over the years, whether it's passenger car filters or heavy truck or off-road or whatever the case is. So there's a whole litany of things that have evolved and changed over the years, and the quality of the products has always been, top of the shelf when it comes to our designs and our production.
I think they need a T-shirt that's like Earth, Wind, and Fire because they do air, oil, and fuel.
There you go.
Yeah.
So when I go to my mechanic or my place that I'm purchasing filters and I look at them on the shelf, they all look the same to me besides the brand name. What sets a good filter or a great filter away from, maybe a subpar filter?
That's a great question. Corey, the big thing about filters is usually the things that matter you can't see or you can't understand because it's the media, the pleated, as you see the zigzags in the filter. If you have it in front of you where you can see it, some of them are in a can. Obviously, you can't see that. But the media is really the magic of the filter. Obviously, you got to have seal gaskets and all those kind of things that matter. But the media is what does all the work. So it can captures the contaminant. It gives you the amount of efficiency that you need, and it also allows you to have the right, pressure drop over the high pressure side of the pump to the low pressure. So what that is just it's a good way to say there's a lot of science and engineering that goes into what that media is. And so just because they may look exactly the same, but one costs, a little bit more than the other, there's probably a reason for it.
Yeah, all the science that goes into it. How do you test to make sure that this is top quality?
Sure. Yeah, we have a huge laboratory here in headquarters, and there is all kinds of tests we do from what are the particle sizes that go upstream versus downstream and multi-pass testing. We look at how much contaminant it holds. We do all kinds of things like burst tests, salt spray tests. If something's going to be on a piece of equipment for many years, is there going to be a rust inhibitor that can keep that from happening? We do look at things like impulse fatigue. So how many times that engine cycles on and off, on and off? Can that particular product stand up to it? Will it collapse under, any kind of, extreme environment? There's just a huge amount of testing that our engineers do each and every day.
So going back to the media side, you mentioned you started in the cotton country. Are you guys still using a cotton media?
No. So that was back in the late 30s, early 40s, back during the war. That was just one of the few things they could get to. Nowadays, you basically have two different types of media. You have a cellulose-based media, which is effectively made from trees and other plant materials, like you would make a piece of paper. Very similar in that respect. And then the other one is a synthetic. So that is a more of a spun bond type media, or it is a full synthetic fiberglass type situation where multi layers are stacked on top of each other. So there's a tremendous amount of technology that goes into just manufacturing media these days.
And what's preferred? Is there one preferred over the other, or is that per application?
It depends on the application, yeah. So a lot of your passenger car stuff you're going to see is more cellulose based, and then as you get into the more specialized type environments, you're going to see more synthetic, and sometimes you can blend those two things together. And so it just really depends on the application.
I think I found another outlet for corn.
Yes.
If it's not, we can make cellulose out of corn. And Rachel's listening in, our chief marketing officer, and she would probably cheer us on there.
That's right. That's a great opportunity. I didn't realize that your filters even come with a limited warranty.
Yeah. So one of the things, obviously, that we pride ourselves in is not only our quality, but we also, like many manufacturers, have a warranty on our product. So if anything goes wrong, our product is covered fully by the warranty. So let's say we screwed something up and it blew up your engine, we'll cover that with our warranty and replace your engine.
How does someone find out that it was actually your fault that the engine blew up?
So we have a very good process with a lot of smart folks that will go out. They'll take the product from that particular customer, and when there's a problem, they'll send it back. The lab gets into the weeds, looking at each and everything, and we'll figure out, is it a user error? Was it something we manufactured wrong? Was it something that the engine did that nobody could have predicted? So we have a lot of very smart people that get into that to figure out exactly what happened.
Yeah, I can imagine that that's something that is a very scientific method and approach because I even return stuff to Amazon when it probably shouldn't be returned. I certainly assume that those types of situations help with Wix, but is it something that we go strictly and directly to a Wix supplier, or are you distributing these filters across the country through a different network?
We sell our products all through distribution, so we don't sell anything direct. So all of our products go through distributors. I mean, there's the famous ones like O'Reilly's that carry wicks each and every day right out there on the shelf, and then there's a lot of mom and pop distribution channels that are out in all pockets of the country. So we sell everything within the U.S., Canada, Mexico, and a lot of export products as well. So it's everywhere. It's kind of like Visa, everywhere you want to be.
I didn't think about that being sold outside of the U.S.
Well, yeah, it's a worldwide company, I would imagine, right?
A caterpillar's a caterpillar or a deer's a deer, so they happen to live in Brazil or Malaysia just like any other place in the world. So guess what? We make a product for it and somebody needs it.
Donald, I want you to talk about, we're in agriculture, right? So we have our John Deeres and our Caterpillars, like you said, of the world, and they always want us to use their OEM filter. I'm smart enough to know that they're probably not the ones usually producing it, but do you guys do any OEM stuff, or is there an advantage to go Wix over OEM?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So we do a lot of OEM. Hummel, our parent company, is a huge OE supplier to lots of big names in the ag industry. John Deere being one of the biggest is one of their great customers. So we do a lot of OE product, and we also sell the Wix version in the aftermarket. And sometimes those are exactly the same product. Sometimes they're a little bit different because of contractual agreements. But regardless, they're still made by the same great manufacturing line and great people that are on the line each and every day. So you can trust whether it's the OE or whether it's the Wix, you still have that same trust from Molinol.
Is there a way that we can tell that the OEM is a Wix filter?
Sometimes you can look at it and just you can tell. I mean, they're spitting image of each other. Just happens to be the label on the outside. And there's other times that you wouldn't know that happened to be the Wix filter. So no, there's no easy way to do it, and there's no magic button to go and push and say, okay, show me a list of these things. So makes it tough on the general public. I know.
Yeah, it'd be nice to know if we're telling people to go buy a Wix filter and they're leaving their OEM that the Wix filter to go buy a Wix filter. Like it'd be a kind of counterproductive, I guess.
Sometimes, yeah, and sometimes you obviously can buy the Wix a little cheaper than you can the OE, and sometimes it's easier to get a Wix than it is an OE, depending on where the dealer might be. So, it really depends on the situation.
What about cross-referencing? I know all these companies have different numbers. Do you guys have a good cross-referencing tool or anything like that to, get the OEM filter to a Wix filter number?
Yeah, I think we have a little bit over 1 million different cross references at the moment in our database. So you can obviously access that at any store that sells our products. If you want to look at it on wixfilters.com, it's there every day. Then we also have the Wix Filters app that's available. So if you want to look at it on your phone, all those cross references are there. If you want to look up a filter by size, you have the length and width or dimensions that you need to figure it out, and you can't see a number that's worn off or something. You can look it up that way. There's lots of little tools like that we offer for folks to be able to figure out what they need.
Great.
That's good. I mean, you are talking to two guys here in the state of Iowa, and probably my only complaint about a Wix filter is it is Hawkeye colored and not cyclone colored. We need some cardinal and gold packaging instead of that black and gold.
Yeah, unfortunately, our packaging is a little rigid when it comes to those kind of things, so it's hard to deviate. But I understand the Hawkeye.
That's fine. We'll get over it. We'll
Yep.
still go buy our Wix filters. But if a listener wants to look you guys up because for some odd reason they've never bought a Wix filter before, what's the best way for them to figure out where to get one close to them?
The greatest place to go is onto the website, wixfilters.com. Go to the where to buy section and put in your zip code. It will show you all the places that are close by and what's available for you in your particular location.
That's great. Well, is there anything you want to share with our audience before we close out?
No, I wanted to thank you guys both for the time and for letting me speak with you. Obviously, we're really proud of Wix and all the things we've done over the years. A lot of great people, a lot of really hardworking Americans here in North Carolina and in South Carolina and other locations here that support you and your teams every day. And we appreciate the business.
Hey, we appreciate you sharing some insights I learned in a short 15 minutes, and I know our listeners are going to learn too. So thank you for your part.
Thanks. I appreciate it, guys.
Thanks, Donald.
Take care.
Okay, so I hit stop. It says it's stopping. It was a little choppy on our end for the audio, but it should pick up fine on your side. Why is it not stopping? Rachel, did it show stop for you yet?
No, it's still recording and uploading right now.
Okay.
Yeah, I got a little granular there on the audio. We could tell what you were saying, but you kind of sound like a robot there for a little bit.
Yeah, but we'll be able to pick that up from the local recording once that stops.
I feel like everything came through pretty clear on my end, though. So
Maybe it's
Could be us.
on our side. Were we clear for you, Donald? No, it should be fine. I'm trying to figure out why this is not stopping.
Everyone's recording still. It just stopped.